Hello Bobcats, I hope you are staying safe at home and finding different ways to stay active, remember, both mentally and physically. For today's read aloud, I have a very special book called If the Shoe Fits, and it is by Gary Soto. And this book is it's about different things, but have you ever heard of hand-me-downs as far as clothing? Usually when we talk about hand-me-downs, I have two sons, for example. And when my middle son, Noe, was, let's say, 3 years old, we would buy him lots of his different clothing. And then, of course, we would give all of those clothing to the younger brother, Leo. And so that's what we call hand-me-downs. And sometimes my kids have cousins that are older, and sometimes we even get their clothes and we pass them down, to the younger siblings. Okay, so just keep that in mind as I read the book. So again, If the Shoe Fits. Rigo had 3 brothers and 1 sister. And when you counted his parents and Uncle Celso, who lived with them, his home was as crowded as a bus. He didn't really mind the noisy house. What Rigo minded most were his hand-me-down clothes. His oldest brother, Hector, passed his shirts and pants down to Manuel, who passed them to Carlos, who passed them to Rigo, and Rigo passed them into the garbage can. That's a lot of hand-me-downs, right? Mom, I need new clothes, Rigo cried one day when he put on a jacket that Carlos had outgrown. 2 buttons were missing and the fabric was faded. Mijo, new clothes cost money, his mother said. When Rigo started to pout, Uncle Celso brought out his old wallet and he handed Rigo a $5 bill. Let me help you, Uncle said. Rigo refused the money. He didn't want to tell Uncle that new clothes cost more than that. But for Rigo's 9th birthday, his mom bought him a brand new pair of shoes. They were called loafers. They were the fanciest shoes Rigo had ever owned. They didn't even have laces to drag in the dirt. Put a penny in them, Rigo's sister Teresa said. That's the style. But instead of worthless pennies, Rigo pushed in nickels. Look at that. Look at those penny loafers. Or loafers, actually. Or nickel loafers. There, he said. He slipped into his new shoes and clicked his heels together. That day, Rigo marched down the street, grinning proudly at his shoes. He liked how the nickels glinted in the sunlight. At the corner playground, some kids were throwing water balloons at each other. Rigo wanted to join them, but was afraid that he would ruin his shoes. Suddenly, Angel sneaked up from behind and yelled, "Hey, how come you got nickels in your shoes? You ain't rich." "It's the style," Rigo answered. "There ain't no style like that," Angel growled. "Nobody wears those kind of stupid shoes." Then Angel demanded the nickels from Rigo's shoes. "Nah," Angel begged. "I don't want to mess up my new loafers. It was hard to put the nickels in." "Forget your loafers," Angel snapped, and he ripped the nickels from the slots. Oh. Rigo went home and he threw his shoes into the closet. But at the end of the summer, he changed his mind. He had received an invitation to a birthday party. It was from Christy Hernandez. No girl had ever invited him to a birthday party before. On the day of the party, Rigo brushed his teeth extra hard and combed his hair 4 different ways. He settled on slicking his hair back. He felt suave. Next, he put on his newest looking hand-me-downs, and finally he got his fancy loafers from the closet. "Come on," on, he grunted, trying to cram his feet into the shoes. When he stood up, he knew the shoes were too tight. Pain stabbed the top of his feet as he took a step. He took off the torture shoes and stretched them, yanking on the leather. He put on his thinnest socks, even though they had holes in the heels. Rigo left the house walking stiffly. After 3 painful blocks, he wished he were crawling instead of walking. But lucky for him, he discovered that his feet didn't hurt so much if he walked backwards. He walked like that all the way to the party. "Nice shoes," Christy said, greeting him at the door. "Thanks," said Rigo, trying to smile. He didn't want to tell her that they were killing his feet. He was sure that he had blood blisters and one of his little toes had already fallen off. "But if you don't mind, I'm going to take them off." "Why?" Christy asked. Rigo's mind whirled for an answer. He clicked his fingers and said, "To play soccer." When he scored 2 goals, his feet felt better. Over dinner that night, Rigo told his family that Christy's party was great. Everyone was there. Jose Luis, Julie, Debbie, Joey, Carolina, Lupe, Rachel, Sofia, Martin, Jaime, Lily, Maya, and Maya's little sister. I forgot her name, plus 2 little cousins of Christy's who were still in their diapers. "Híjole, that's a lot of kids to feed," Uncle Celso remarked. "Yeah, but a party's more fun with lots of kids," Rigo said. "Next year, mijo, we can have a party for you like that," his uncle said. "And you know why?" And Rigo shook his head. "Because I have a new job as a waiter," Uncle announced. "I'll make a lot of money. Mucho dinero." After dinner, Uncle Celso began to gather the dirty plates from the table. Rigo's father protested. "I leave them there for the kids." "No, hombre, I have to practice being a waiter," Uncle said. "I'll help with the dishes," said Rigo. He liked to be with Uncle and listen to his stories about Mexico. Rigo rolled up his sleeves of his sweatshirt. As the two worked side by side, Rigo noticed that he was slightly taller than Uncle. He noticed that Uncle's pants were too loose for him and that his shirt had flecks of paint on it. He looked at Uncle's shoes. The next morning, Rigo brought his loafers to the couch where Uncle slept. "¿Qué es esto?" Uncle asked, opening one eye. "What's this?" "A present for you. Kind of used, but try them on." Uncle sat up and took the shoes. "These are the most beautiful shoes I've ever had," he said, and he patted Rigo's cheek. "You don't mind if they're hand-me-downs?" Rigo asked. "Hand-me-downs nothing," Uncle said. "These are brand new. I can go to work in style." He tapped on the soles and he put them on. He squinted an eye at his nephew. "Are you sure you want to give them to me?" "Yeah, I'm sure," Rigo said. "To tell you the truth, Uncle, I like them, but they hurt my feet. I grew a little." Uncle reached for his front pocket. "These coins are older than I am," Uncle said. He held up 2 centavos, brown as his own skin, and smiled. "They're kind of like hand-me-downs too." When Rigo took the old Mexican coins, he knew what to do with them. He fit them into the slots of his new loafers, if he ever got any. Next time around, he would wear them no matter what people, like Angel said. The end. And you see the author at the end, you know, he writes the glossary. I guess I should have showed you this at the beginning. But you see the glossary, we have some definition for some words. So we see the word centavos, and that means Mexican pennies. Híjole means wow. Hombre, man. Mijo, my son. Mucho dinero, a lot of money. ¿Qué es esto? What is this? And suave is sophisticated. Okay, boys and girls, that's it for me today for this read aloud. I encourage you to maybe go find a book to see if you can find a glossary in the book that you have. But I hope that you have a very suave afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.